Oh, this is the undressed one. Want some design? Basically an MT-09 from the back, from the tank back.
Amongst the first in the UK to ride what is the first leaning multi-wheel motorcycle. It's a bit special, this, with a lot of new technologies. So the whole point of this before you ride it is to give you a proper understanding of the bike and subsequently have a better experience. That's the plan. We've got one guy that's missing at the minute, but my name's Dave and I've got Christian as well, both from Yamaha UK. So we're going to take 20 minutes to talk you through some of the customer benefits, or what we think are the benefits of this bike, a brief history, and if he's not back, a subpar tech chat from me, so hopefully he's back. So what is the Niken? When Yamaha first announced it, make that work, mate. When we first announced it, we likened the Niken to the art of skiing. Not just because you've got the two wheels at the front, which looks like the two skis, but also to highlight the fact that this is in fact a very sporty motorcycle. And to best illustrate that, I've got you. Try that. Cheers, dude. We've got a small video to highlight the sporty nature of the bike. Cool. So all the technology that's gone into the Niken is there essentially to get you around corners in a quicker way, more stability and more confidence. We think when you're riding the Niken, the sensations you're going to get from the lean angle, the speed that you can keep through the corner, the control and feeling you get, and of course the fun factor will be increased. The offshoot of all this is as well that it makes it more accessible to riders who perhaps wouldn't want to ride fast or in a sporty way, because you've got all this extra confidence. The innovations that Yamaha put into this bike is nothing new for us. We always try and think outside the box a little bit. And we always do that to try and improve the customer benefit. So a brief history lesson. In 1968, Yamaha were the first manufacturer to make what was considered an on-off-road bike with the DT1. In 1993, we had the GTS 1000 with the hub centre steering. We don't always get it right, but it's good fun trying. In 2001, we were the first manufacturer to come out with the maxi scooter concept, which we've still got the T-Max, which is doing really well in Europe still, and more so here actually in the last couple of years. And in the off-road world, we've got our 180-degree reverse cylinder YZF motocross engine as well. All these innovations, though, are designed to improve the customer benefit, in particular with riding satisfaction, the performance of the bike, how it handles, the usability, and more importantly to us, the Yamaha reliability. This isn't the first stab at leaning multi-wheel technology. Some of you will already be familiar with the Yamaha Tricity, which is the 125 scooter. We launched that in 2014. That was good for us because it enabled people who, again, perhaps wouldn't normally want to get on two wheels to think, I'm going to give it a go, because you've got extra stability and confidence. That was the commuting side of things. Now, Yamaha are looking at what we can do with leaning multi-wheel technology from a sports point of view. In 2007, we had the Tesseract concept. This was a four-wheel leaning motorcycle. Then that became the 01 Gen in 2014, which ultimately became the Niken, which you're going to ride shortly. Fundamentally, we didn't set out to make a three-wheel motorcycle. When Yamaha started to look at how can we get around corners quicker with more confidence and more stability, the obvious answer was, you wouldn't think it would be obvious, but it was to put another wheel at the front end, which is why we've got this today. So what are the advantages of the leaning multi-wheel technology, specifically applied to the Niken? Again, fundamentally this bike is just there to get you around corners quicker. It's difficult to quantify, but you've got roughly, we've got roughly 80% extra traction at the front end. So as you lean, as you lean, 45 degrees is the maximum lean angle. Even at that point, you've got a roughly 50-50 balance between both front wheels, giving you 80% extra traction at the front end. That means if you see gravel or a pothole or a dead badger, you don't have to worry about it because the bike's going to go over it. Bear in mind, as you can see, the bars aren't moving, so if this wheel goes down a pothole, you've still got more traction on the left-hand wheel than you would on a conventional motorcycle, but without feeling it through the bars. When we were in Austria, we were lucky enough to be in Austria for the press launch, Yamaha said to us, if you see any of those things, hit it, see what will happen. And we're hesitant to say that to you today, but same thing applies. Perhaps if you see gravel, think about how you'd feel on your own bike. That's the difference. You know, you would probably think, oh, I don't fancy that. As your confidence grows out on the road with the ride, see what you think about it. Similarly, all the riders that have come back today and last week in Edinburgh, they all agree that the feeling's very natural. It feels like a bike. And that's important to us because this is a bike for bikers. It's not meant to be a mobility aid or anything different. You don't have to adapt your riding style. Some of the guys last week were overcompensating a little bit because they thought they'd have to turn harder. I can lift that with a little finger. You don't have to overcompensate, just ride it like a normal bike. Similarly, the front end is really precise, so point it where you want to go and it will go there. But you can keep your speed up into the corner and accelerate out of the corner with more confidence, knowing the front end's not going to let go. Stability and control, yeah, of course you've got more stability in the corners, but because you've got 3 contact patches now, your braking is much more efficient. As you know, on a conventional motorcycle, if you brake while you're leant over, the gyroscopic forces will naturally bring the bike up. That doesn't happen on the Niken. You can, even at full lean, pull the brake in steadily, and it'll just start to slow down. It won't pick you back up. So again, try it when you're out and about. Similarly, in a corner, you can accelerate out of the corner with more precision now because the front end's not going to wash out. There's a lot of it today. Side wings are less pronounced because again, you've got 3 contact patches. And you'll also experience a reduction in the dive and lift. So as you brake and accelerate, it's less pronounced. Not so much as if you're on a BMW with a telelever front end. That's quite disconnected. This isn't. You'll still get the sensations, but it's much reduced. Again, giving you more confidence. Something we're all used to, non-perfect conditions. So I've covered this already, but the whole point is that you've got so much more grip when there is a scenario that perhaps you would normally be a little uncertain about, even in the cold and wet, but thankfully that's gone today. So a little caveat, it's not impossible, but there's less risk of losing the front end. And lastly, we think there's a potential to make you a better rider. By that, what we mean is that if you're going into a corner on your bike, have a think about what would be the lean angle on your bike, how hot you're going into that corner. We think you'll find it easier on this bike, which will give you more confidence, it'll make you less fatigued, and then hopefully it'll be more fun. I'm now going to hand you over to James, who's not here, for the tech chat. So wish me luck with this. Let's talk about the chassis and suspension, James. At the heart of this bike is the Leeming Parallelogram system. The whole linkage, thank you Chris, the whole linkage is there to control, firstly the steering, nicely done, the leaning as well, and the clever thing with this is it all works together. So we'll come back to the Ackerman system in a minute, but the fact that the wheels are kept at a constant 410mm apart means you can achieve 45 degrees lean angle, thank you mate. The forks, so on there's 2 sets of forks each side.
You should be bikinis, Dave, to do this.
No, 43mm fork on the back. This is the one that does all the work. So this has got preload, rebound and compression, fully adjustable conventional motorcycle fork. The fork on the front is a 41mm fork. This is predominantly there to guide the bike. If you had one fork on each wheel, it would just flap about like a shopping trolley. So the front fork, although it does move, it's got no damping in there. That's all controlled by the rear fork. The wheels are, as you probably noticed, smaller than a conventional motorcycle. We've gone with 15-inch rims. Yamaha experimented with all sorts of sizes, so 17-inch, 16.5, even bigger. The problem with anything that's larger than this is twofold. I was listening to him, wasn't I? I'm doing all right here. If you had a larger front wheel, there's a space issue. We've got limited space at the front, of course, because of the technology in the parallelogram system. And the gyroscopic forces would be too great if it was a larger one. Similarly, the track, yeah, being 410mm apart at any one time. That's again twofold. Firstly, it means that you have to ride this on a bike licence. We're not trying to appeal to a broader audience with regards to how some manufacturers in Europe did with the Piaggio MP3 scooter that you probably heard of. You can ride that on a car licence. That wasn't of interest to us. It was solely here for a biker. But it also means that the further apart they are, the more stability you perhaps have, like a Can-Am, but it means that the manoeuvrability is reduced. So that's another reason why it's 410mm apart. Please.
Just to jump in as well, you'll notice with the system, Ackerman systems, that you're not running straight through the headstock as well. So again, based on the fact with the wheel size and whatnot, we had to accommodate the system in by running not running through the headstock as well. That's all I was going to say. So back to Dave and James.
So to highlight the Ackerman system in action, we've got this small video. Cool. And all that enables you to get a maximum of 45-degree lean angle.
Peg to peg, basically.
Peg to peg. Geometry-wise, we struggled to think what to compare it with because there's not a lot out in the market that's very similar, so we chose our own bike, which is the 2018 Tracer 900. This is really important to us because one of the criticisms that we had before people actually got to see the bike was that it was very wide. The handlebar width is 35mm wider than the 2018 Tracer 900, but more importantly, the previous Tracer 900 was the same width. So it's actually the same width as a Tracer 900. It's deceptively large at the front end, but bear in mind again, excuse me, that the bars are the widest part of the bike. And when you're riding it as well, look at the guy in front of you or behind you in the mirrors, and you'll see that the widest part of the bike then is the guy with his shoulders. Elbows, yeah, you know what I'm saying. The riding position is really important as well. The rider sits 50mm back on this compared to the Tracer 900, and that's to offset the weight at the front. When you look at the bike and you see other guys riding it, it looks like the rider is set back, and that's to offset the balance. So you become part of the bike's geometry. The total wet rate is 263 kilograms, which is FJR 1300 territory. The only time that weight's apparent, really, is when you're pushing it around like this, at very, very low speeds, and that's more because of the fact you've got an extra contact patch at the front end, more rubber dragging along the ground. Anything, for me, see what you think, but anything over 5 miles an hour as you get rolling, the weight disappears. Classic manufacturer quote that, but it's true. What's next? Braking, we've got ABS on this as well. The brakes at the front, see what you think. I thought they were ace. You've got a slightly smaller disc because you've got slightly smaller rims, but they're being grabbed by the 4-pot calipers, and we've got a really large disc on the back, 282mm, again with a 2-pot caliper. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the Leeming multi-wheel system does exploit the power that you've got to stop. There's a rear shock on the back from Kayaba, which is fully adjustable as well for preload and rebound. And again, to try and save weight, we've got an aluminium tank on the front too, which will give you a range of about 300 kilometres, which is about 185 miles. Technical features, this will be a laugh. The engine is out of the MT-09, the CP3 triple, which we also use in the Tracer 900 and the XSR 900. It's virtually the same power plant. However, they have increased the weight of the crank by 18%, which gives you additional inertial torque. If you've ridden the CP3 motor in any of the other bikes, hopefully you'll realise the difference. Even though this is pushing an extra 35 kilograms, it feels really pokey, more torquey because of that. They've also beefed up the transmission gears as well, and the gear ratios have been changed as well to give a slightly more lively response, again because of the weight. We've got some goodies on the bike as well, so you've got traction control in 3 settings. You can turn it off, which is operated on the clocks, which you'll see when you sit on it. We've got the D mode, which you've ridden Yamahas before, is their way of changing the way the power is delivered. So in standard mode, if you will, is number 2, which will just give you a nice smooth response. If you change it to 1, it's a bit more fruity, and if you change it to 3, it's slightly muted. It's the same power, it's just the way the power is delivered to you. And that's changed on the right-hand switch gear. You've also got cruise control, which as far as I'm concerned hints at what we're going to do with this bike in the future. A bit of sports toury, that. The route today probably doesn't lend itself to applying the cruise control. but it's there. And we've got our new negative LCD meter, they call it, so it's like our MT09 SP. Instead of having black writing on a white background, it's flipped. So the idea is that you can see it in broad daylight clearer, so today will be a good test. And additionally, we've got a quick shift system as well. I'm sure most of you have used a quick shifter, but if you haven't, just give it the bananas, snick it up, but don't use the clutch. Don't throttle off, just keep it going. Great fun. Operates over 12 mile an hour, and you've got to be above 4,000 RPM, but it works best when you're accelerating and putting it under load. And it's only up as well, not down. Don't do it down, that's not a good thing. And thankfully, I'll get to pass you over to Chris now, who's going to talk you through the design. Thanks, mate.
Suggest you think. So again, today and in September, when the demos arrive at certain dealers, you'll be able to see what you think. Please have fun, that's what it's all about. And as I said, we've already talked enough about what we think it's capable of. Now you'll be able to go off and ride it yourself. And the only thing we ask about today is that you come back and give us your genuine thoughts and opinions by filling out some evaluation forms, which are just the iPads over there. The bikes, lastly, are available to order or pre-order for availability in September. Thank you very much. I will pass you on to Kevin Healy from Focused Events, who's just coming. Any questions? Yeah. Has anybody got anything they want to ask? If you do, please don't leave today without asking. That's what we're here for. As I said, Kevin is here now. Enjoy the ride and thanks again.
Where is Tom Leah? I get the pleasure of selling these things though when they get released.
All right, dear.
We're going to be a nominated dealership, you see.
All right, I'm just a normal punter.
Yeah, that's it.
Thought I'd just show up and have a go.
That's what it's about though, you see.
Although I've got a Yamaha, so
What you're riding at the minute?
I've got an MT10 at the moment.
Cool. Okay, yeah. That's it. So there's a bit of something to compare to, not used to that kind of...
Yeah, well, it handles quite well, so it's got to do quite well to beat it.
Of course, yeah.
It's bound to beat it on fuel consumption, that's all I'll say.
Absolutely, yeah. You'll get more than 85.
I think it will, yeah. I think we're going to get a few weird looks going down Matlock Bath High Street. Looks weird, doesn't it? Jesus Christ. Feels very normal. Feels very much like a road bike, mine. Almost feels like you're on a press launch. Visibility out the mirrors. some weird looks. I'd certainly prefer to be out just on my own rather than this big group. You never get a proper feel for the bike doing this, but it's nice just to get a sample, get a try out on it. Yeah, it's got 3 wheels. 3 wheels, mate.
I was just reading an article about them
last
week in a mag.
Yeah, well.
Oh man, I drove down here, I saw one parked up on the way down.
First time anybody's had a go on them in this country, apart from up in Edinburgh, so interesting to have a go on it.
What do you like?
I've only come from the car park up there, not really had a chance to find out yet, but feels like a normal motorbike. Yeah.
You look outstanding. You just, you know.
The wheels are narrower than the handlebars, so it's just like riding a normal bike, really.
You've got 15 inches on the front, eh?
15-inch wheels, yeah. I hope we're off. I'll see you again. Cheers. That's all right, isn't it?
Comfortable.
It's a comfortable place to be. Goes into the corners really well, doesn't it? So. I have to say, I quite like it. Oh, we're away. Just feel like you want to get it,
I just want to get back. I just want to like nail it.
go a bit quicker, yeah.
Right, so I've edited the ride footage down. It was about 20 miles in total and well organised by Yamaha. So what did I actually think of the Niken? It's certainly more exciting to ride than I was expecting. It feels more like a normal bike than I was expecting. It just rides like a normal bike. It goes into the corners really well. It's certainly confidence inspiring in the corners. Turns in easily. The front brake is really good, or should I say front brakes, very good. And what I found especially is the front suspension. It just seems to glide over the bumps. Very impressive. It is carrying more weight with its two front wheels. It's only to be expected. And the question is, would you actually buy it over, say, a Tracer 900 GT, which Yamaha also make? I think only the individual can make that decision. I liked it. I did enjoy riding it. Would I have it over my MT10? I don't think so. But it's certainly a good bike. It's worth having a look at. It is weird looking, but that's just because it's different. I think you need to give it a look and give it a try out. See what you think. Make up your decision. I think it would make a great tourer, I think you could go across Europe on it. It's certainly really comfortable, and I hope it's a success for Yamaha. I know a lot of people think it might not be, but you know, only time will tell. But thanks for taking a look, and cheers for now.
Ground crews have been increased to allow us to get the lean angles we want to get. And the cast angle on the trail, quite cute. But look at the steering now. Steering down, so that is a nice spot.
It's alright, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and jump back out again. I've got a customer that's doing the meeting now, so trying to figure out who it is. But
Get at the front.
I know, yeah.
That's what you need to do. Okay, you were itching, weren't you? Itching.
I just wanted to pause so many times. I was like, come on. No, Sam.
It's alright, isn't it?
Who's your local dealer?
Arnold's.
Right, okay.
Arnold's in Burton. So where are you based?
Wigan.
Wigan.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to go.
You're going to be one of the preferred dealers of these then? All right. Okay.
So that's how I'm getting onto it. So.
I'll bear it in mind anyway. I'm not sure yet. All right. Nice to see you. Second go. See ya. Well, there they go.